or something other than a human being.
Wow.
Didn't know that, did you? If you want that case, you can email me. I'll send you the case. I have it highlighted. Okay, B, passenger vehicles are not used for transportation of persons for hire, compensation, or profit, are not commercial vehicles. This subdivision shall not apply to Chapter 4 Convention with Section 6700 Division 3. So now you got to go to Chapter 4 and make sure that you don't have an issue there. But this right here says you're not required to register unless you're operating commercially. It's a lot of case law in this. Okay. I wanted to get that out there so everybody understood the deception on the law. By the way, it's the same way in the code. I don't know if I'll ever get these back together again. Let's see. There's the code right there, the vehicle code. Today, you can get it off the internet. It's almost word for word the same. The only thing they added to Part B was house cars. Vehicle code 260. Okay, so why do I tell you all this? Well, one of the things you need to know is that we do not have, and excuse me for having my back to you, we are operating, and the government officials operate under what they call codes. Well, here's the problem with that. The problem with that is codes are not the law. This is something that I wrote. It's pretty generic. It's called judicial notice. Judicial notice is what you hand in to the court when you give them a notice of adjudicating facts. Those are facts that are indisputable. If you want, I can send you this. But what this has to do is, it has to do with, I've got a blank one there. It has to do with all the law and all the case citations that say that the code is only prima facie evidence of the law. So what's prima facie mean? Anybody know?
Face value.
Huh?
Face value.
Face value. So can you give me a real good description of that? Give me an example of face value.
55 miles an hour.
Well, that's a start, yeah.
License plate on your car being a commercial vehicle.
How about this description here? I got a great car out here. It's a Cadillac. I'm going to sell it to you for $1,500. It's nice, polished, got a good paint job, everything. Looks great to you, right? You pay me $1,500, you drive off the lot, and all of a sudden, the crankshaft falls out of it because there's a problem with it. That's prima facie. That's not the law. Then, the courts decided that, well, if we have positive law, which is what they enact now, if they have positive law, which is what they enact now through the legislature, and they've been doing this since 1948, and I'm going to lay a bombshell on you about 1948. That was quite a year for Congress.
That's when Mr. and I were born.
Oh, really? Well, then we can't blame you. Enrolled bill signed by the president and recorded by the National Archivist, and that's the only place where the law is. Everything is only evidence of it. Okay, now get ready to start taking some. Pardon?
An enrolled act.
Right, an enrolled act. Now, I have just, well, there was somebody that did some research a while back and did a writ of habeas corpus for some gentlemen that were in prison that proved that Title 18 was not lawfully enacted by Congress. Well, I can tell you, I researched it and it's factually correct. I have certified copies from the National Archivist to prove it. I've got the little gold seal on each piece of paper with the red ribbon under it.
The Title 18 isn't active?
This is Title 18.
Criminal code. So it is good.
It's a criminal code. It's no good. It's a falsehood. Now, I got another one for you. I just finished some research at the law library last night, and I cannot find any evidence that says that Title 28 was lawfully enacted. The same condition that exists with Title 18 exists with Title 28. 28, that is all the federal rules of the courts.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Federal courts. So the federal court rules, which they tried to codify. Okay, here's what they did in 1948. And I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with the whole system. Or with these two particular laws, not the whole system. These two particular laws. These two particular titles. It's pretty simple. They started in 1946 to codify all the federal laws because they had a big mix mash of the laws and they were having a hard time keeping track of it, so they decided they were going to codify it. The Judiciary Council, which, by the way, is my sworn enemy. The Judiciary Council, not that they're all bad men and women on the Judiciary Council, but their acts right now are in contravention to your freedom under the Constitution. So they're my sworn enemy. Well, I won't say swear, affirmed, because I shouldn't swear. So they're my affirmed enemy. But here's what happened real quickly. The Judiciary Council for the House, which it was a House bill, put together the codification of both Title 18 and Title 28. They sent it up to the Senate. The Senate sends it to their committee, and their committee turns around and they start reviewing. They send it over to their Judiciary Council, and they start hacking and whacking it up. And then it's got to go back to Congress, and it's got to get voted on the amendments. All right. What happened in Title 18 is the amendments never got voted on. Then they turned around and did a joint resolution, which means it's a resolution that both the House and the Senate agree on in advance to adjourn. They adjourned on June the 19th. Now, on June the 17th, Title 28 was enrolled by the Speaker of the House. But there was never enrollment by the Senate. By the President Pro Tem is what they call him. So, here's what happened. They turned everything over to two guys. They adjourned on June the 19th. They didn't come back until the middle of July. They were gone for 2 weeks. I think it was like the 12th of July or something like that. Pardon? After the fact. The guy that was in charge of the House, the one man that they left there in charge of the House, he went ahead and enrolled Title 18, saying it was an enrolled bill. He signed it as an enrolled bill and sent it over to the President. He can't do that. The President signed both bills on June the 25th, 1948, Title 18 and Title 28. Neither one can be signed into law when Congress is in adjournment. These are not my rules, they're their rules. I use their rules against them. Look, the Jews had 649 laws to follow, and they had a tough time doing that. It's the first 5 books of the Bible, right? And I have a lot of good Jewish friends, and they admit it. So, you go to a law library, I walk in there, it's a den of iniquity. It's a devil's playground. Look at all the laws they have. They can't follow their own laws. Okay. Any questions on any of that? I hope that kind of gets you some insight into the laws. Yes?
So, according to 1 U.S.C. Section 204, which shows all those that were passed in the positive law, that's false. Because 18 and 28 were not done properly.
That's right.
So that's totally misplaced evidence.
That's right. And I'm going to tell you, we can't get the courts to rule on this. I just filed a 2255 motion in federal court for somebody, and the very first thing I have listed there is Title 18 not Title 18, the failure of Title 18 as being passed as lawful law. And we don't know what's going to happen. My guess is they're going to vacate it. Now, here's the problem with the courts. If the courts recognize that these two bills are not valid law, every federal judge is commercially, individually liable.